you're a gourmet that enjoys eating Komodo dragon or whatever. Yeah, I mean, so is it a human-centric thing? You know, that everybody's berserk about killing an endangered species? Because believe me, I mean, I've never been an animal in the jungle being hunted, but it seems to me that if some dentist is hunting me with a high-powered rifle or a crossbow, I don't give a damn if there's only 50 of me left or thousands as there is of moose. I mean, you know what I'm saying? So what has really got, and I'm saying this in a humorous way, but it really is an interesting question to me. What really has all the population of the world upset about this? Struggles, Tony, do you have any input on this?
I do not. I that's a good question, and I don't think it's all the world. I think it's just like America itself. I'm
trying to be gracious here and include the rest of the world
because I don't think China cares.
No, China eats dogs. What do they
don't care, and I don't think some of those aspects of Africa even care.
No, they're the ones that are making money hand over fist, handing over the animals to be shot.
I mean, wasn't it one of the African tour guys that lured the lion out?
Well, absolutely.
So they don't care either. They just looked at the whole almighty dollar. I don't care about that animal there.
Okay, so what has the American public, especially the internet segment of it, frothing at the mouth in a way that they haven't frothed? I don't even think they get this up. I don't even think that Al Sharpton got this upset when they shot the black dude. And I don't think anything has gotten everybody this upset in centuries.
I think just because it was an American caught doing it. If it was another countryman, like an Englishman or an Irishman or something like that, they wouldn't care.
All right, but like I say, you know, that's what that interests me. Is it because big game? It just points the finger at big game hunting in general. You know, cruelty to animals, endangered species, which is human egotistical, or because it's Cecil.
You got it right there. I think it's Cecil. I think it's a mascot. They're mad because a mascot got shot, not the fact that it was just any old lion. Because how many lions do you think get killed in a year that don't get talked about?
That's my point. How many lions get killed in a year that don't get talked about? How many wild animals get killed in a year that don't get talked about?
Right. For instance, the elephant. I mean, those suckers are getting wiped off the face of this earth just as quick as the lions. You don't hear about that on the news about poachers
and rhinoceroses and
rhinoceros. There's a species of black rhino that is no longer in existence in the wild. The only way you can see this thing is in captivity, but no one cares.
Right.
Tigers are dropping off by like the thousands. We've wiped out entire species of tigers.
Right, and that's why. Now, granted, yes, and given depending on your stance on this situation, you can give blame or credit where it's due. But there is a small percentage of people who are really opposed to the killing of wild animals for hunting and sport, and whether you agree or disagree with that, they're consistent. They just say it shouldn't happen and it shouldn't be done. But it's usually a small minority, a small group of people.
I am on that small minority that says hunting an animal for sport shouldn't be done because in order to have a sport, there has to be an equal or
competition, right?
Right. So that animal should have a rifle in its hand trying to kill you.
Well,
or how about if you want to make it a sport?
Thank you, Chuckles.
Take the weapons away and go at it with your bare fist. And then see who wins, because that's a sport.
Or a knife or a spear.
No, take that away, too.
No, the lion has teeth and claws.
But that's what he naturally has. He was born with that.
Right, but if you're going to match, if you're going to have an even contest,
see what you can build in the wilderness with your mind.
But our claws versus
our mind is that equal, supposed to be that equal weapon to figure out how to take the animal down.
Right.
Never mind using knives and stuff. Because hunting, when you're going out to kill like a deer or a moose to eat, that's a necessity. That's not a sport. When you're using the whole animal, I have no problems with that.
Absolutely not.
But when you're going into, like, say, a grizzly bear area just because the grizzly bear nailed one of your cattle and you're going to slaughter it because you put that cattle ranch in a grizzly bear's area and you're saying it's sport, I don't see the sport in that.
Well, that's even a step. And it's that's the second worst thing, hunting the grizzly bear because it did what grizzly bears do and killed one of your cattle. But that's not even the sport. What we're talking about with this dentist character is not even that. We're talking about just calling it a sport to shoot an animal that has no chance.
Right, and my whole thing is
and I agree with you. Put it very well. It's not a sport. Basically, all it is a good indicator of the fact that this guy is eventually going to shoot down a human being.
Right, put a motion censored semi-automatic on the lion. So when it senses a human, it mows you down. That's a sport. So now you have to get around that.
Or hunting, one of the aliens or predators or something.
Right.
The Schwarzenegger movie. Now that's a contest.
Now, why aren't these folks that are in charge of this reservation? Why would they even allow such a thing to happen in the first place?
$45,000.
Right. But someone should have been in the back if you really cared about this animal, which they didn't, obviously. Saying no bloody way would this happen. There is a group of folks in Africa whose sole purpose is, if they catch elephant poachers, to kill you, to make sure you don't shoot them.
Right.
Why isn't there a group of people like this protecting these endangered lions?
You wonder about that. They're really brave. Now, and I'm going to spread the criticism both ways and the ridicule both ways. All these people that are complaining and want this dentist hung by the neck, they're brave on the internet. I don't see them stepping out there, forming the lynch mob to go after all these poachers. Like, that's your point, right?
Right.
Yeah.
He may be an evil man that did a bad thing, but there's a lot of evil men doing bad things, and we're not stopping them. He just killed a more famous lion.
Yeah, I mean, it seems to me that, now, if you want sport, if you like walking around with a high-powered rifle and posing for pitches in, Hunter's Quarterly or whatever you do, or I don't know, Soldier of Fortune magazine or whatever. And why don't you do what many such adventurers have done? Instead of picking up your crossbow or your high-powered rifle and going to Africa to a game preserve where you don't even hunt the animal across the country, it's in a game preserve.
Right.
It's like, I think I'm going to go out and get a fishing pole, and I'm going to go over to the Mystic Aquarium and go fishing. That's, in other words, just to add on levels of absurdity.
Well, that's like people that hunt quail. The quail are hand-raised by humans, not afraid of humans. They put these poor little things out of there, and then guys like Dick Cheney come out and blow the crap out of them.
And they usually have shotguns.
Yeah.
I mean, they don't even
left.
stop at rifles. They just they blow quail to pieces.
It's like you can't even eat that little guy when you're done with it.
Right, unless you want to break your teeth on the buckshot, because there's not enough of the corpse left. But my point was, what these adventurers should do now, if they really want sport, if they really want competition, and they really want excitement, and some of them have done so, is go to the Middle East, go to some parts of the continent of Africa. I mean, the Kurdish, fighters who are fighting to the death against ISIS. I'm more than happy to welcome you. They will welcome the help if you want to bring your rifle and go to Kurdistan and fight ISIS. Why doesn't this dentist with the big and like I said before the show, it almost makes me want to take up smoking, so I can put a cigarette out right in that guy's big shit-eating grin, right in his face, between his eyes. Why don't people like him go aim a rifle at somebody that will shoot back? I mean, now you're fighting for a cause.
Yep.
You're getting out there. You're being macho. You're being a tough guy. But, no, this dentist, he will never do that because somebody's going to shoot back at him. So I think that sums up what I think about characters like this. I mean, if you really are an adventurer, you really have some balls, and you really want to use a rifle, there's plenty of movements, causes, get involved in that. Do some good.
And I believe that goes the same way. If you want to really take care of these animals and make sure they don't go endangered, well, why don't you go to that area and stick up for them instead of staying back here and trying to send them money? Get a group together that is on that preserve that sees even if you go near that, they're going to blow you away.
Or grab a rubber glove and help with the artificial insemination.
Yeah. Do something more than just sitting back and complaining about it. I mean, there is groups of people out there, whether the whale watchers, those guys with the boats, they will put themselves in danger to people shooting at them to stop people from hunting the whales. Right. Now, there's a group of people that sat back and said, well, just saying not to do it isn't enough. We really have to push ourselves in front of this to stop it.
They're true activists. They're actively doing something.
That's something worth doing. Same thing with the guys that protect the elephants. Have a group of people on this game reserve that are set up in camo with guns, like you said, that the minute you step over that border, they're
They
going to be
shoot at you.
shooting at you to
Right.
make sure that animal's okay. I don't see the reason why we can't do that.
No. And like I think the only reason we don't is because all these internet or all these protesters, they're all talk, they're no action, which is why I view them with pretty much universal contempt. Yeah, I mean, unless you're ready, unless you're ready to fight for your cause, I don't want to hear you. I really don't. I mean, find a tall bridge, jump off it, kind of like that guy. We have a mall to do that in Rhode Island, don't we? The Rhode Island Mall. It's become a trend for people to jump off the top floor. Yeah, I mean, all you internet foaming at the mouth jerks, as opposed to the gun-bearing dental jerks. Why don't actually both of them? Just go to the top of a tall mall, hold hands and jump off together. Saying the world will be rid of one asshole environmentalist or animal rights person and one psychopathic big game hunter. I think the world would be better without both.
Worst part, he's not even a good hunter. He supposedly shot Cecil with a compound bow, and they had to track him for 40 hours while the poor thing was bleeding out to finish the job.
Yeah, well, I'm not even going to comment on shooting a lion with a crossbow.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like,
yeah, go like so all I can say is just back a step. Okay, you jerk, get that crossbow, go out to northern Iraq, tell the Kurdish fighters you want to help, put yourself behind a rock, take aim at that ISIS squadron coming over the hill, and fire your crossbow at them, please. I want to watch what happens next. Okay, what's going to happen next here? Let's go back to the music. How about Twilight of the Thunder God, a little Amon Amarth here on Rhode Island, Free Radio's Haunted Cabaret.